2019, we started December, and then February, COVID locked the whole country down. So all of a sudden, our ads are just going boom. We went from spending $200 to $300 to $500 to $5,000 a day through COVID, and everyone's trying to copy digital marketing school. It's like, you're so far behind. By the time you started, we're already ahead.
Brodie Ober and James Wellington, founders of Ease Consulting and Amala Finance.
Helping entrepreneurs scale smarter, master their finances, and build real, sustainable freedom through proven business systems, strategy, and wealth frameworks.
Obviously, the economy worldwide, people are looking to make money. But I'm noticing a trend towards AI. They're a big AI company. They went from in March to now from 300K to 6 million a month. And they're 70% of their deals, like huge growth.
I have a done-for-you ad agency. The downside is as we get more clients, I have to get more media buyers. So it's not like a great business to like just blow through the roof. Kind of what you guys said with financing, that's the great part because it's like give them the financing and then they like fuck off.
When it comes to the online space, you're selling the invisible. You're delivering the invisible, right? There's no tangible product. So the biggest question that these lenders have is what due diligence have you done on these merchants before they get to us? How do they deliver?
All right, so Brodie and James, let's just start right at the top. You know, how did you guys meet and get into business together?
Easy, I'll start with this one. Well, originally we had a digital marketing school about 3 years ago. So Brodie actually joined us in the sales team. We were doing on average, about 5-6 million a year. We had about 12,000 students. We were doing that for 4 years.
Yeah.
So this was before even what you're doing now. You guys were doing something together.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You guys have been partners for a long time.
Yeah, been partners for a while now. It's coming to our 5th year sort of in business. So we're doing that for a while, and then we've obviously stepped into finance now. But yeah, Brodie was in the sales team. Then we fully just shut that company down with my other business partner, and then we decided, you know, we're going to go fully into finance now.
Okay, so tell the audience a little bit about that. Like, you guys were basically before, it sounds like it was coaching mostly, right? And then you guys just went into finance. What was the reason for the pivot?
Look, I mean, the big reason for us was like we've always used third-party finance companies, and the thing that we noticed was there was always gaps, right? Like whenever we would try and use a different third-party finance companies, like some would work for a little bit and then they would stop working, or there was no communication. There was no real process around it, right? So it didn't matter who we used. We're like, look, you know, we're in sales, got out of sales, moved into finance, and you know, decided to get our own license.
Okay, so when you guys say financing, well, I'm thinking of it like I'm going to companies, they're giving me like, you know, like what's some that people know, Affirm, Klarna, et cetera.
Yeah.
So did you guys basically start your own company?
So what we did was we actually took it a little bit different. So we got our license here in Australia, and then what we've started doing is just basically partnering with international companies. So we've actually recently partnered and are co-owners of Ease Consulting, which I think you may have used a few years ago. Yeah, so we now own Ease alongside Dave and the team. And then what we're doing is basically just plugging in like private equity, venture capital into the back of the businesses and bringing in the speed of like buy now, pay laters like your Affirm, Klarnas, but building out a full waterfall. So rather than just setting up individual sort of like finance companies, we're developing an app which is called Ease Pay, and then plugging in international funding. Because a lot of the coaches we work with from our marketing background, they were like, oh, I'm doing a business in Australia, US, like the big five. They were doing it everywhere.
Right.
But they couldn't get registered. So we've just brought it all together and put it underneath an app. So it's really just plugging in international finance.
When you guys made the switch, was there like, I don't know, like what made you guys decide to get into it? Was it just like you guys saw like a hole in the market, or you saw there was like money to be made? I mean, it's just kind of interesting switch.
Bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to always have conversations, but there's a massive gap in the marketplace,
Yeah.
right? Especially because we came from the high ticket sales, right? Coaching space. And
So
we've seen it from both sides, right? Like we obviously work with a lot of brokers, a lot of different lending platforms, and we're like, look, there's a gap here that we can actually, you know, fill and actually put a good software, good systems in place, and actually, you know, work with the coaches. And because you speak to a lot of coaches and you ask them about finance, and it almost feels like finance is working against them.
Yeah,
but that's just not true.
So what did you guys change mostly? Like well, before we even do that, my biggest gripe with financing usually is that, and I don't know if this can even be solved for, but like most people, I say, well, they need a 650 credit score, but I'm like, but if they have 650, I don't need it, right? Because I'm like, if they can get a credit card, why do they need financing? So usually, I mean, I don't know if you guys do this. I'd be interested to hear what you guys say, but usually it's like, yeah, if they have above 650, you can finance. If they don't, they can't. And I'm like, cool, I don't need it. I need it for people under 650, but I would also understand why they can't do that, because if they're under 650, they don't pay their bills. Did you guys run into that? Like, what's your solution for that, if any?
The main one is that obviously the subprime lending market. So we're stepping into that more and more and more. It comes down to the volatility of the clientele. So we've plugged a lot of solutions in the front of it. So we use a system called Easy Check. There's a few out there like Simple Check, Leadfly. So we do all of that. So our PE guys are really happy with the way the book's performing. So they're happy to have like a higher thirst for risk. So what we do is we just protect the downside with that by making sure that they've got the sort of systems in place to really make sure that the clientele are paying. So what they've done now is we've got guaranteed approval. There was obviously a few in America. We've got a brand new one that's literally got over 5 to 7 year terms. Pretty much exactly the same as a payment plan, but instead of doing a payment plan, it's straight into finance. I think like $10,000, like $150 a month.
So is financing almost a little bit like an insurance company where you're basically just like, you have to toe the line of like how aggressive you are versus like how much you get paid? Because like if you finance everyone, it probably wouldn't work. So it's like, do you just like look at what happens and come up with the rules from there basically?
Yeah, I mean, look, when it comes to financing, like there's so many different lenders out there, right? And they've all got their own underwriting risk. So it's like, depending on the coach, depending on the space we're actually working with, we'll match them up with the right lenders because some lenders will have, high risk tolerance, right? Some of them will have a lower risk tolerance. So the ones that a lot of the coaching space tends to deal with are they're getting matched up with the wrong lenders. And that's where that frustration in the finance space actually comes from, is they're putting applications in with lenders that they just don't suit, right? They're never going to get approved. But that's why a lot of people tend to come to us, is because, look, we own the finance companies. We work with all the lenders directly, so we know what works, what doesn't work, and then we can match people up. That's why we sit in the middle. That's why a lot of people tend to come to us.
I don't know if you guys can answer this, but did you guys have to buy into all the companies? Were some of them just like they gave you equity for like doing stuff? Like, I don't know if you can even say.
Yeah, so what happened was, because our background being digital marketing, so we've got marketing agencies and sales agencies.
Yeah.
That's actually how we connected with a lot of the companies, is they came to us originally wanting us to do marketing and sales. But we were
Like
going
for them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So my other business partner and best mate, he's got a really large agency. He does marketing for like Foot Locker, New Balance, Smirnoff, like a lot of the big brands. So they sort of approached us and they're like, can you do marketing? And we're like, look, we actually want to get into fintech. That's what we're pushing towards. So we've just basically started the relationship, went in there, pulled apart the system. So with Ease, for example, Dave, if you're listening, love you, mate. But we went in there and it was just a little bit clunky. And we just said to Dave, like, let's just reinvigorate this whole thing. There's a huge marketplace right now. So we also use Go High Level, which a lot of coaches are basically familiar with. We were ClickFunnels originally, but obviously for the systems, operations, Go High Level. So we just matched it to the marketplace. And we bought a lot of like the operating systems in, which then when Dave and the team saw that with Ease, they were like, this is what coaches are used to. We're like, yeah, it's not Telegram, it's not this. Like if we have the CRM, the pipeline, completely different. So a lot of it's been sweat equity as times went on, bringing in different books. So we've just, we can't say all of them just yet, but we've just signed enterprise with a lot of the big 5 coaching platforms.
Nice.
So that'll be really good for the business. Obviously that was the major play. We're going the one by one, then we've obviously plugged into the enterprise level now, which is good. So yeah, it's all happening and moving. But yeah, like you said, just more sweat equity in the beginning and then came in.
And are all the companies you guys partnering with, are they in Australia? Are they US based? I mean, Ease, they're in the US, right?
They're in the US. Yeah.
So like, are you guys like just all over the place?
Yeah, I mean, Australia and US at the moment. Because what we actually did, we set up a company here in Australia called Amala Finance.
Yeah.
That's you would have seen that. That's where it actually started off. And then obviously we partnered with Dave and, like James said, we went in there with sweat equity with marketing and sales and really just built a solid foundation behind them and just gave, them, Dave and the team support to be able to then go back out to the marketplace and, have more time to work with the lenders while we operate, in the back end. But now, from one platform, coaches all around the world now have finance for their clients from one platform. So you plug into the Ease platform. Whether you've got clients in Australia, you've got clients in the US, one click of a button, you've got access to a whole heap of different lenders.
Okay. And we'll go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's soon to be, international outside of Australia and US.
Okay, so Amala is basically your guys' mission. It sounds like to you're building these different financing options, and then Ease, it sounds like is the biggest kind of partner at this moment. Is that accurate to say?
Correct, in finance for sure. So the Amala group's got quite a few different things. So we also do publishing, which is a similar model a lot in the US. So we've got 25 publishing clients as well.
Oh, okay.
So we're running that up, which is good. And then obviously marketing, still sales, etc. But the main thing is finance because we make.
Oh, so you guys are doing it's kind of it's like almost like a buffet, like get what you want type deal.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and a lot of systems and devs. So if someone comes in, they're like, we want you to do this. We've got developers. So we've got Go High Level specialists, Salesforce specialists. We went from a team of 12 to a team of just shy of 62 in the last 14 months.
Correct.
So it's growing really, really aggressively. And it's fun, I think, because we were in the coaching space for so long. We just saw it and we're like, this is literally solution after solution after solution.
Did you guys want to pivot more so because just like you saw caps in coaching. Like I tell most people, I'll say like, look, like if you're top 1%, you're doing maybe like 1 to 2 mil a month, and that's kind of the top. And the reason I say that is because, you know, if you have like clients and they're like 1 to 10, like the 1's gonna do terrible, the 5 will do okay, the 10 does the best because like they have to do stuff, right?
Yeah, I think the big thing is like we're in the coaching space, right? So it just made sense to just pivot and offer them an actual service that we understand from both sides. But a bit about my past, like I used to work in solar, right? And that's going to be our next thing. Is actually working into. I know.
You guys did some work. Like you knocked doors and stuff, right?
Knock doors, calls.
You did that in Australia, yeah?
Yeah, I used to. Like this was many years ago.
I did door-to-door security. It was rough.
Oh, you did?
I mean, I learned it made me as savage as sales. But
everything I know now,
worst.
like a lot of it comes from work there. Like insurance.
Yeah.
I worked at your insurance years ago. It's like insurance, solar, done a bit of everything. But it's like everything's just worked perfectly to get to this moment.
Yeah. Well, I want to point that out to the listeners. I like, you know, people talk about skill stacking. It's really true because like as you learn more things, it just allows you to get more leverage and like new opportunities. So like this opportunity you guys are now in, it probably wouldn't have happened if you hadn't had like all those things that you learned before. So I think that's really cool. James, I did see something on your profile that said like God first above all. So you don't have to get too crazy with it, but you know, like why do you say that? What's your philosophy around it? Do you use it in business?
Yeah, for sure. I normally have a Jesus King shirt on. So
okay.
Yeah. So
when I think of like, are you familiar? I just start kind of going down that rabbit hole. There's like a lot of those. I didn't like even. I guess on YouTube there's everything, but there's kind of some of those like I don't know. You call them like Christian or religious type like YouTube channels. Do you kind of like follow a lot of those guys?
Yeah, I love them. So I actually came back to God last year. And, Steve Weatherford, who's from the US, he actually brought me back to God. So he he came out to Australia, and one of my mates is like, you know, I was sort of on the edge, and he's like, do you want to come this event? And I met Steve, and I just come back from Italy, and Steve's like a mountain of a man, like obviously former NFL player.
Yeah.
First interaction.
He's like the most jacked NFL player. They always made videos because he was a punter and he was like super jacked.
Oh, he's so fit, man. Like I just remember like getting to our other mate's house, and he's like, we're doing a warm up, and I'm like, all right, we're going to train. And it was like 400 lunges, and I'm like, man, I'm so unfit right now. And he's listening to worship music, and he's like, let the Holy Spirit fill you, brother. And I'm just like, man, this is so intense. But I just know I was like, in Australia, the Christian and like the Catholic and the religious community is like very like khaki pants, like sort of thing. Like you don't really see successful entrepreneurs. And I met Steve, and I was like, man, this is a jam. So yeah, like literally since then, fully given my life back to Christ. You know, everything we have is all glory to God, and just it's been just rapid transformation since then.
What was it? Was it literally just because you saw Steven, he was successful, and you're like, hey, if he's successful in doing this, that must be the right thing? Or like, what was the main thing?
Well, if you want me to go deep into it, like I can definitely, more than happy to. So previously my partner, my fiance Bernadette, just lost her dad due to a heart attack. And I lost my mum in 2006 due to breast cancer. So the name Amala is actually named after her. So it actually means in Italian to love and to love her. So her name was Amanda Lani. So Amala is obviously A-M-A-L-A. And then it also means in Arabic, beacon of light, and then Hindu, wisdom and hope. So our company was actually named after my mum. And then, in 2006, I was 14 and basically turned my back on Christ. You know, I was like, I'm literally an orphan kid. I met my dad when I was 12. Mum passed away at 14. I'm like, you know what? Like, God, like, if you're going to do this to me, like, why? You know, why would you take her? Yeah. And then, lost my, so my fiance, I just remember it, she lost her dad, 7:30 in the morning. I've like walked out into the kitchen and just like, she just crunched over the floor, just like crying. And I knew what happened. I just said, God, like the last 18 years, I've tried to like, you know, hold this myself. Like I give myself to you. Yeah. And in that moment, it was just like this rapid catapult, you know. Then Steve, obviously 2 months later, comes to Australia. Like I think you've sort of like referenced like obviously growing up Christian. Is that right? Yeah. So like I sort of saw that. And then, when Steve came, I was like, you know, had the Holy Spirit, the fire like flickering. And then, just literally just put his hands on me. There's a video that he sent to me, and it was like, just forgive. And I just forgave God, and everything just sort of came back to, obviously everything back to God.
When you were, let's just say finding your way or whatever, did you ever feel like you went off the deep end? Like, you know, some guys like when they're away, they're really like away. Like, were you off the deep end, or were you just kind of like living life?
Oh man, off the deep end.
Okay.
You know, because I played semi-professional sports. So I was trying to become a professional rugby player. I went over to the UK for 2 years and actually tore my ACL when I came back to Australia, playing in like pretty much like a pub comp. So it's like a bush, like you no insurance, nothing. It was a sevens tournament, tore my ACL. And I was like, God, literally like nothing in my life's going right. So spiral, drinking, drugs, all that stuff you don't want your kids to do. Just trying to destroy myself to just run away from life.
Jeez, and you don't have any siblings?
No siblings.
Man, bro. Yeah, that's tough. It's funny because like there's kind of two sides of religion. I grew up very religious, but it was almost like for me, my parents were so like my dad was the equivalent of a pastor, so he was like very like, you know, got to do this, and it's like interesting because when I've seen different people, like some people, their parents, I feel like they push so hard that they go the other direction, and then like some parents maybe don't push enough, and then like I'll still kind of see the same thing where the kids like don't have any structure, so it's like not good. For you, like because you grew up in like a single parent household and so forth, like you know, I guess I'm just trying to understand the mindset, like what like God was. It seemed like God was a part of your life growing up, and then was that kind of the reason like you like blame stuff on God per se and stuff like that? Is it because you were kind of growing up in the
I
in the
grew
church?
up Roman Catholic, so I'm half Italian. So it's podcast. I don't look Italian at all, but apparently
I
don't
would
look
not
at all.
guess that
Everyone's
at all.
like you're Irish or something. Like, but I'm half Italian, hence why the name Amal is obviously an Italian word. But yeah, I grew up Roman Catholic, and I just remember Mum was like very like I'd say the Rosary, the Hail Mary, like all the time. Like we were very like strict Catholic. I was an altar boy all the way through like high school and like primary school and stuff. So very strong religious beliefs, but you were living in that fear and condemnation because Catholicism's always about obviously the negatives, like, you know, fearing God. And then obviously the opposite of fear when something doesn't go right, because you've like surrendered to God. I was just angry. I was like, man, like literally God, like Mum gave everything to you. Like up until the day she died, you know, I still remember she had like holy water from Lourdes, like by her bed. Like she had a priest come and pray over her, like when she was dying, like the week leading into her death and that. And I'm just like, God, if this is how you repay your daughter, like seriously, like I'm done.
Yeah, last question on this, and we'll go back to business. But I'm curious. I'm just curious how you're taking on personal. Like, so you know, I grew up pretty religious, and like I've studied quite a bit. And you know, there's some people who are kind of like the way they preach is like more works based, and then you get some people who are like more faith based. And I don't know, like when I think about it, I kind of feel like I'm a little bit maybe in the middle, and it's almost like maybe not something I can prove with scripture and stuff like that, but. Some people, it's like, it's weird to me because they're like, oh yeah, you just got to believe and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. That kind of seems like not very like heart intent, I guess. And then there's other people who are like super like, you got to do this and this. And then at the same time, like, well, so if I don't do that, I go to hell. And I don't know. I'm just kind of curious your take because like because recently I've kind of been going down this path myself. Like I've been looking at like different you know, once you like, click on a video on YouTube, they start serving you a bunch of these like religious videos. And like, I'll just listen to some of these like arguments, like it's like atheist versus Christian versus Muslim, you know, whatever. And like, it's like interesting to hear people's like points of views and takes. And I feel like no matter what, people will read the same things, but they all like think something different. So last question, I was just kind of curious, like, what's your take on all that?
I think I call it marketplace ministry. So for me, like, it's like for me being that person in the marketplace having my own belief and faith. So for me, I've always just said, I've sought comfort since coming back to God. You know, it's like I went down the spiritual rabbit hole. So I was full into like, you know, all the different spiritual elements like intuition work, super conscious work, all that sort of stuff. And then when I realized like I can take the pressure off of myself thinking that I'm the only central creator in my life and actually giving surrenders to the creator, life just became easy again. And I think a lot of people are trying to discover their own personal power rather than actually realizing that life is like God is the one that gives you life and gives you power. Like obviously Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And I think that for a lot of people, when you can have that flip in that belief and thinking, life becomes easy because it's like we're always on this rat race trying to discover something, but we're actually already whole, you know? And I remember Steve said something to me perfectly. He's like, I literally, because I remember with his testimony, it just stuck with me. He's like, I perform for an audience of one. And he's like, I'm only performing for the recognition of my father and my validation of my father, but I'm already validated from the moment I was born. And I think for me, that took a lot of pressure off of everything in life. Because I was constantly trying to be like, am I the best at this, the best at this, the best at this? And you'll never be perfect, but you'll be perfect in God's eyes. And there's a sermon by Dr. Miles Monroe where he's like, God's the creator and we're his creation and God doesn't make mistakes. So like genuinely just realizing that, like that's my take on it. You know, it's a piece. Just complete piece.
No, it's interesting. It's just a thing I've always found super interesting is like end of the day, no one can really quote unquote prove something. Yeah. And, you know, so I just like hearing different takes and so forth. And it's, you know, like I sometimes like, it's not bad per se, but like I'll hear this guy's take or that guy's take. And I'm like, you guys are like reading the same stuff. You guys think something completely different. It like drives me nuts a little bit where, I wouldn't say I'm angry or something, but sometimes, I'm like, you know, God, like, couldn't you have made this like a little bit more straightforward, maybe? Like,
Yeah,
because like I'm the type of guy, if you give me rules and I know it's gonna work, I'll do it. But I feel like that's where a lot of the arguing comes in, where people, we don't even all believe in the same God. People believe in different ones, and then they take different verses, and anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to kind of ask you on that, because I'm actually going on that journey a little bit right now. So, look, coming back to business, what would you guys say is the most common businesses you guys are working with? I know you say coaches, but like fitness coach, business coach, like what type of company is the most common?
Look, at the start it was pretty easy to answer that question, because it was more so like sales coaching, trading coaches, spiritual coaches, like anything around mindset. Like that was like, what it really started off with. And then it went into publishing, book publishing companies, Brian Tracy and stuff like that. And then, went down that opportunity, which was really cool, right? Opened up a lot of different coaches that came to us, wanting to be published by us, wanting us to do their sales agency and marketing agency. But look, from a whole, sales, trading, spiritual, mindset.
Those are those specifically the ones you just named? Like those are the main ones, or are you just like using those as examples of like?
It's hard because every day a new coach pops up. You're like, what does this person do? And like sometimes I sit there and look, coaching space. I'm not shitting on anyone right now, but like sometimes I'm like, is that really a coaching business? Or have you had like a dream one night and you're like, I'm going to do that? Like, and this isn't aimed at anyone in particular, but like I think the big one at the moment is biz opportunity, and then because like obviously the economy worldwide, like people are looking to make money. But I'm noticing a trend towards AI. Our biggest clients, if anyone's listening to this, and he's thinking about it, AI, slap an AI sticker on the front of something and you're instantly going to charge an extra 10, 15K per offer. Like I'm just finding we can't really name the names, but you might have seen them. They're a big AI company. They went from in March to now from 300K to 6 million a month. And they're 70% of their deals, like huge growth.
Wow.
Massive
what's their
company.
AI do in that specific company?
So they're just really helping people to leverage AI, basically implement AI, obviously, implementing different systems in their business, whether it be SDR setters, technology on the front, like marketing, sales, operations, but also teaching people like AI agencies, which is a big one at the moment.
Yeah.
They're really cranking, but yeah, there's this one company, and I remember seeing their first numbers when we obviously onboarded them. Yeah. And a 300K in March to over 6 million a month now, 70% funded. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you bring that up, because my experience over the last 8 years, I used to think like, hey, if I know what I'm doing, I market really well, like I can kind of push it to wherever. But then I started seeing some of my clients come in who were like not very good CEOs, to be quite frank, and they would get like a 10x return on ads, and I'm like, why are they getting a 10x return? It's like they're using the same funnels, the same systems. But then I started realizing like the offer does make a big difference. So when you can get like a good CEO and then you get a unique offer, it's like the outsized returns are so enormous.
Yeah.
And even some of my portfolio companies now, it's like I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for, if I bring someone on as a portfolio, it's like, hey, you're a good CEO first off, and then number two is like, do they have something unique? So for example, I've had someone come to me, it's like, hey, they have a fitness company. I'm like, it's just not unique, bro. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So like kind of what you just mentioned with the AI is hot right now. So as long as it works, obviously, like what they're doing has to work. But yeah, like I would probably look at that business and someone would be like, oh, they're like, I got to do their funnel. I got to do their VSL. And it's like, no, bro, it's like their offer just way better than yours. And that's
100%.
it, right?
That's a big thing that people need to remember, is that like gone are the days where you could sell information.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a lot of what the
bro. ChatGPT is the best therapist in the world right now. Literally. He's undefeated. I love I mean, he sometimes he says some wrong stuff, but like for the most part, it's just crazy how I can go on there and type in something and it just pulls the data and tells me what to do.
That's what I build everything on these days.
Yeah.
We were literally speaking about this because one of our clients, they were like, again, can't say names, but it's they were just, oh, why is it not working? Why is it not working? And I said really politely,
your offer sucks.
I said that, but I also said too, like I was like, off camera, I spoke to Brodie and the team, but also said to like the lady directly, I'm like, what you got away with in 2019, 2020 is no longer a thing. She's like, I was doing 250K a month. It should be still doing that. I'm like, no, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Access to information so fast, access to ability to do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So, I don't know how it was for you guys. It sounds like you guys pretty much won from day one. Have you guys like pretty much always done pretty well, or like did you have some rough times?
Oh, definitely rough times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say from day, like I did have some rough times, but once I started making money, it was pretty fast.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, first 2 years made like $2,000, and then I figured it out, and then I went like 0 to a million, million to 10 million, 10, like it was really quick. And kind of what you just said, I think is super ironic, because I like, when I was going through that, I'm like, I don't really understand why people like go out of business. Like, this is kind of like easy. And then looking back now, part of it was like, it was like a different time. COVID was happening. So like there was some stuff that kind of inflated numbers, et cetera. And then what you just said really stuck out is like what used to work stopped working. And I would like go in there and I'm like, all right, I've changed like 100 things and like it still just wouldn't be working. And after a while I was like, dude, like part of it's the economy and part of it is like, it's the offer.
Yeah.
And then like I stopped. It was almost like it was good, because I think some people, they're not hard enough on themselves. They blame everything else. Guys like you and me, we're probably usually like, what am I doing wrong? And after I'd kind of like gone through like 20 something things, I'm like, dude, it's just like economy changes and then the offer. And so I think people who stop progressing, kind of like you said, like they're making $250 a month. So they're like, oh, cool, business is great, I'm just going to leave it there. As soon as you turn your eye away and you stop progressing, I think it catches up to you. And that's why they go out of business, because like over time they turn away and then they're like 1 to 2 years behind because they're stopped kind of inventing and developing the business. And then like it starts to go down and it's too late. Like they don't even realize like, dude, you're behind the times now. It's like, it's not hot anymore.
They rest
like,
on their laurels and they try to focus on the wrong things. Like they optimize at the wrong points. I even say this to some of our sales managers, like, because our guys get really personal. They want every product to win. I'm like, guys, like you've got to look at the data. And we're always say, you know, numbers, like people lie, numbers don't. So it's like when you guys are sitting there like, yeah, but I can turn this off around. I can turn this around. I'm like, statistically, it's literally hemorrhaging cash right now. We've got to just stop it, draw a line in the sand, cut our losses. And I think that's where a lot of people...
Are these like mostly clients or like your own companies?
Even our own companies. Like some of the offers, they sound amazing, but then you put in the marketplace and you're like, you know, the big thing I'm noticing, if they don't have a brand. So like... It's really coincidental. We don't really do personal branding, but I'm noticing in the coaching space, because we're in more finance now, the coaching space that has like the personal brands, like you're noticing it with like your TikToks, your Facebook, your Instagram, like the younger economy, they're all personal brand focused. Because we obviously do a lot of business with like WAP, and we've got a lot of their clients that use our finance as well.
We use Split It, I think, on WAP.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
I'm seeing like all these like young guys, and I'm realizing like why are they having this huge trajectory of growth? And it's because they're on like, we spoke to a guy the other day, he doesn't even just do Zooms or masterclasses, he actually Twitch streams and he pitches from Twitch. And I'm like, that's so weird, but he gets like...
So much effort too though.
I know.
That reminds me of, what was that, Clubhouse.
Yeah, that was another, like everyone jumped on that. But like, but I realized like the economy that they're in and like where their marketplace is. So he teaches like, basically like game development and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, that's actually a niche, because anyone using Twitch is just definitely into gaming. So I'm like, it's those little nuances that are super smart. And I think the coaching space for a lot of the coaches that was working, like we've got guys that, you know, were the sort of older guard and they're like, my ads just don't work anymore, this and that. I'm like, yeah, because there's newer guys coming in, ChatGPT, all these things. You were the shiny object and now you're just dust on a shelf.
I agree, dude. I agree. It's like, because I've seen it in my own business and I've also seen it in my clients. Because like one of the benefits I would say of like business consulting in general is you get so many data points from like your clients, because you can't start all those businesses. And after like that was what I went through, and I was like, dude, like I don't think I suck. It's like the market shifted and the offer's not that unique. So for example, like I've done business, like I did fitness coaching and then I got into business consulting, whatever. Like it's just not unique.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like I can't make money, but like, you know, when you're doing 2 million a month and then like you're not doing 2 million a month anymore, you're just like, oh, well, maybe it's this. It's just like, dude, like I think it's what you said. You're not the shiny, you're not the new guy anymore. Some people go into a market and they'll literally just win because they're new.
Yeah.
For a little bit. And it's like, because like people are usually like, oh, like I'm missing this one thing. This guy has it, right? And so like they'll have success for a little bit, but I think like staying in business for forever is hard, because like you said, you're not the new guy anymore. And then you have to pivot. You either have to pivot like strategically. So strategically could be like you used to do a VSL, now you do 5-day challenges, or you do 5-day challenges, now you do events, whatever. Or it's like you got to have different offers. And when at least this is what I've seen, like when I've looked at most billionaires, I'd say like obviously there's outliers, but I say 80%. It's usually they're in tech, private equity, or hedge funds. And the reason is like hedge funds, like everyone gets the same result. Like if you have an idiot who invests 1,000, you have a smart person, they get the same result. And that's kind of one of the reasons it wins. Tech, same thing. It's like there's leverage with the tech. Private equity, it de-risks the business because if I have 10 companies where I own a piece, it's like, well, if these 3 or 4 have better offers, they're going to do better, and it kind of de-risks the ones that like are not as good of an offer. That's at least my opinion. So like now with my portfolio companies too, like literally someone will do 10x on ads, and I'm like, yeah, like he just got a better offer than my company. That's it. And I think I used to drive myself crazy thinking it was something I was doing. It was a marketing issue, but even high level guys, like let's say a lot of the young guys or like the newbies will talk about marketing, and like the high level business guys are talking about products because the products
I find like a lot of the young ones are selling implementation there. That's what they're selling. They're moving away from information to just more so implementation.
Well, like the done for you. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about that, it's not that it doesn't work. It's just, at least what I've seen, it depends on the level you want to get in business. Because some people want to make 10K a month, some people want to do $1 billion, whatever. But like the goal, the biggest companies on earth, at least in my opinion, is like as they scale, fulfillment does not scale, which goes back into like hedge funds, tech, private equity. So like for if you do done for you, I have
into finance.
Exactly. Exactly. So like I have a done for you ad agency, which we do for our highest level clients. But like the downside is as we get more clients, I have to get more media buyers. It's like, so it's not like a great business to like just blow through the roof. Kind of what you guys said with financing. That's the great part because it's like give them the financing and then they like fuck off.
We've been
right.
Yeah. Because I think what we were saying, someone said to me the other day, like you're going to write a book, and obviously like Alex $100 million offers.
Yeah.
I was
Dude,
like,
he's killing it. He's killing it, bro. The numbers he's doing are crazy.
I remember watching like that launch and just my whole socials, like everyone. And I saw that guy, I won't say, the one that you ripped. I was like, I laughed at it. I was about to message you, I think. I'm like, why is everyone so focused on like these things?
Bro.
Weird stuff, man. Like I saw
I was at his headquarters watching.
Yeah.
And like Becker was there and Tom Bilyeu but dude, Alex is just he's just a freak, bro.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's got crazy work ethic, crazy determination, super intelligent. He's one of the smartest people I know. I mean, he's a freak, bro.
Man, 100%. Like, and he's just doing, and everyone copies it. And that's like what we said about the funnels. Like everyone will try to do the same thing.
And it's like, not that.
But it's like, what is behind that? And that's where I think a lot of people, because we were laughing about it. We're like, well, someone goes, what book are you going to write? I'm like, $1 billion ecosystem. It's like literally, because I'm like, our whole thing is like centralized point, which is finance, but then the ecosystems that plug in. Because one thing I've really been studying, can't remember the video or the guy's name, but he's basically created like $8 billion companies. So he's like literally like onto his 8th. Holy shit, and one thing he said in this YouTube video, he's like, the companies need to feed into one another. They need to start to help one another to stand up and to grow, but then also sustain.
Ideally, yeah.
And I was like, it's brilliant, because we think like this level of coaching, like marketing, sales, finance, but that's so small. Like what can you go beyond that? So now what we're looking at, and when you said data, that's why we're in finance.
Yeah.
The best data we get is literally, so we're stepping into medical now as our next play. And we're bringing obviously our marketing teams, our sales team. We don't really need to do as much in sales. We're currently in discussions with looking at getting IVF studios with the private equity guys and plugging in our finance to it. Because IVF in America can range anywhere between 30 to 50K.
Bro, it's like, yeah.
And if you look at the data on it.
Next after that, you guys got to go to the surrogacy. That's even more expensive.
Massive, man. But it's like, if you look at it, like you trend the data, people getting IVF aren't going to be not financially affluent. So therefore the marketplace for it's extremely strong. And that's what we
I
look
like
at.
that. Yeah. I like that. One of my clients actually, her offer is amazing. So she worked in admissions for 20 years, kind of like high level schools, like say Ivy League schools in the US. So her offer is she knows the process. She's like, hey, I'll pretty much guarantee your kid will get into an Ivy League school. Yeah. So dude, she gets these parents dropping 40, 50 G's like it's fucking candy because it's like they want to go to Harvard. It's like, well, Harvard's $300,000. So it's like, I just want a like small fraction. It's like, that's the key is like, especially if the offer is like built in a way where like only rich people can kind of pay for it in general, that even makes it easier because then you don't have to sift so much. It's like the sifting is IVF, it's expensive. So you know what I mean? So I like your guys' mindset. Like that's gonna be really cool. So I guess are you guys kind of turning into, how would I say it? Like a private equity company? Like I kind of view myself now as like the two things I want to get into is, well, I actually want to get into all three. I have a partner who's a portfolio company who he has hedge fund experience, so I do want to do that. But he's gonna run the show. I don't know shit about it, to be honest. Number two is like I am getting into tech, but it's ups and downs where it's like you got to build it. And then the third one that I really like, and I think part of why Alex went into it is like private equity in short is like, it's so easy from the standpoint of like, it's not easy to get the companies, but it's easy. It's like you get the company, you make it bigger, you make money. It's like really simple. And then you're kind of picking and choosing only the best ones. It kind of sounds to me like that's kind of the direction you guys are in now, is where you're basically kind of private equity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct,
most definitely. Do you want to go?
Yeah, no, you go on this one.
We've got a good cohesion. So we obviously have like the visionary. Like I'm literally the mouth from the south. So like Brodie always like the head of operations. Like he'll bring everything.
The one
together,
that brings everything to life.
So you're kind of doing everything, and then
I always like big vision, and Brodie will like sift, make sure I don't go and derail the team with like a huge vision that's going to take 30 team members to do. So that's probably why I'm like talking so much. But
no, that's good. That's good.
That's what we're getting into. And we started in the coaching space, but I think it was Alex said it and Sam Ovens said it. You need to treat coaching like a cash cow. Like coaching is the ability to make lots of money. And I think a lot of coaches, there's this huge trend because they're like going, obviously Alex sold for 100 million. Like everyone's thinking the coaching business is going to get that valuation. But we're seeing it as a stepping stone to just drive as much cash flow as possible.
Yeah. So, and you're talking about his gym launch, right? So the thing that people don't understand, I think, with gym launch is that he was basically able to get the dumbest person the same result. Like they basically would promise like, hey, pay us this and we'll get you 30 grand in 30 days. You can't promise that in any coaching offer outside of that. And the reason they were able to do it is like they found gym owners who were kind of dumb. They were like, raise your price to 6X and run ads. Like, and I'm not trying to simplify them all. Cause like, obviously there's like, he's very smart and there's a lot that went into it. But if you think about it, it's like, hey, you're charging $50. How about we charge $600 and we run ads? And they're like, wow. And it's like, for brick and mortar as well, it's like, it's easier to get those people because it's in person and stuff like that. So like they sold in person. So 90% close rate instead of 30. There was a lot of stuff that people like, I'm looking at them like, guys, that's not a coaching business. Like if you like, in my opinion, when you're thinking of like a normal coach, like normal coaching, it's like, it's online, you're selling over the phone, way lower trust. You cannot get results that fast. Like you cannot go to anyone and say, hey, I'm going to just tell you what to do and you're going to make 30 grand in 30 days. Like, it's not built that way, but Gym Launch was. And I think that's what really propelled it to get so crazy because like if every single client you had made 30 grand in 30 days, you would grow without ads too. In fact, I remember this was years ago before I met Alex, but I was like, hey, like I was crushing the online space. I was going to go in the gym space. So we started running ads. The ads were not that profitable. And then a few years later when I met Alex, he's like, oh yeah, we don't really run ads. We spend like 10K a month on ads. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, well, like we just get so many referrals.
Yeah.
So I just think there's parts of that like people who aren't close to the ground, they don't know the differences. I think he had a unicorn offer.
Yeah.
And then even where he's at now, I think he had a great story that kind of blew up his socials. But like even now I tell people like, guys, like the difference between him and you right now is just like he gets 100 million impressions a month for free. So if you got 100 million impressions a month for free, how much more money do you think you'd make?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's easier said than done, obviously. But I think sometimes people are like not comparing apples to apples and it's like, dude, like you got to make sure it's like you're talking about the same thing.
100%. I agree with you about the unicorn offers and it's timing because we did digital marketing school 2019. Yeah. I still remember we were doing health and fitness and then we're like,
that's so crazy. That's where y'all started. Yeah.
I was Herbalife, like literally back in the day. Yeah. The old herbs and spices, bleeding green, baby. Because that company for me, Mark Hughes lost his mum, weight loss, drug overdose. So I'm trying to like find like my thing and like literally I'm like, he lost his mum, I lost my mum, sort of trauma bonded to the company. I'm like, I'm going to be the best. Remember recruiting like 360 people in my first 6 months and everyone's like, this guy's an animal because I was just good at sales. Yeah. Had like a mad downline. And then, I remember one of my former business partners, he's like, dude, you can make $5,000 a sale if you just sell digital marketing, like sell the marketing. But again, sliding door moment. Like I had mates that were PTs and they were literally losing their job during COVID because I lived in Melbourne, which was like the most lockdown. 2019, we started December and then February, COVID locked the whole country down. So all of a sudden our ads are just going boom. We went from spending $200 to $300 to $500 to $5,000 a day through COVID and everyone's trying to copy digital marketing school. It's like, you're so far behind. By the time you started, we're already ahead.
Well, no, and that's, dude, it sounds like you guys had a similar experience to me. I felt bad during COVID because people were struggling and I was making more money than I was making money hand over fist, bro. Because it was like, I was business consulting and then online businesses and it's like COVID ends. So it's like everyone has to go online. So I was like, holy shit. And so I think that kind of played into part of like what I was telling you about. I was like, we were just scaling so fast and so easy. I was like, what? I don't understand. Like everyone's like so easy. But part of that success, obviously now looking back, it's like, okay, it was proper time. Like it was the right moment. Some of that comes into it. But yeah, I agree. I just think, They don't, not beginners, they don't need to know all this stuff, but I think as you get more attuned in business, you start realizing like it's not always just like brute force. Like it gets to a point where it's like leverage. It's like team, tech, software, you know, just like the right offer is a lot of those stuff. It's like, you know, and like to my point, like some of my portfolio companies, they have skill sets that I don't have. So it's like I can do the marketing and sales, but they know how to day trade. I don't know how to day trade.
Yeah.
Or like they know how to do like the college admissions. I don't know how to do college admissions. And so like that's the leverage you need though. So it's like, what can you give them where they can leverage back? And to me, it's like, if they handle the fulfillment, I'll do everything else.
Yeah.
And that's at least that's my take on like private equity, because it gets to the point where like, if I didn't do private equity and own other companies and I had to learn those skills, it's like, dude, that's like at least 2 years every time I want to learn a new skill, which doesn't really make sense. I mean, like for you guys, actually, it'll bring us back to you, like in the financing, I'm assuming you guys don't really have to even worry about that part as much. You guys are just doing kind of like the sales and you're letting them do the financing, right?
Yeah, literally.
Well, we do the financing. All of
No,
our team,
but what I mean is like, do you guys know it like A through Z, like really well? Or do you guys like, we know it enough, but basically like they kind of handled it and we just like push through leads and sales and
So
that
we've
type
got
of thing.
we've got a license in Australia, so we're fully
Yeah.
licensed in Australia.
Did you guys have to take a bunch of tests for that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I had the idea. He implemented it. He's like, you got to do the test
Dude,
on a chair.
this idea thing I'm starting to like more and more. It's like, hey, you should learn this.
He's like, it's a 6-month program. I'm like, you got 6 weeks. We're launching in Jan 2025.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Could've
So
done.
just on a kind of a serious / funny note, like when you tell him to do something, he's doing it. What are you doing in the meantime? Usually?
I'm getting the next opportunity. He's like,
Okay.
bro, can I finish this? Can I finish this first thing?
Okay.
Because I remember,
we'll go into visionary.
Yeah.
I'll meet him in the middle. We'll have a call, meet him in the middle. I'll go back, go to the team. Like, we've got a big team. It's not just me. I'll be like, look, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. This is when we need to get it done by.
because it got
That's
to a point where my vision just kept, because like, again, like obviously with God, like I've prayed, God showed me this vision. And then I'd be like, bro, I've got this vision. He's like, explain it to me first before you go and tell everybody what you're going to do. I sort of got kicked out of the company, like CEO and title, but basically it's actually Brodie. I'm just sort of sitting there. He's like, bro, you're in founder mode now. You need to like sit there and just let me run this. Because I jump on, I'm like, guys, this is the direction. Then all of a sudden we've got heaps of team in the Philippines, like heaps of team all over. James said to do this, and he's like, oh man, this is like a 6-month, not a 6-dayer.
So I'm just curious, like what does a typical day look like when you've already kind of given instructions and the team's working on it? Because like when I think of a visionary, it's like, okay, when you're kind of thinking of what to do next, got it. But like once you've kind of settled on that and then maybe you're working on the next thing, what would a typical day look like? Is it like you're just like literally on the internet all day? Are you talking to people? Are you reading books? Like what are you doing?
My main one now is a lot of the enterprise deals. So a lot of back and forth, because we've got the one-to-one day-to-day, and then with our publishing clients, with any of the offers I can jump on, some of them I can't. I'll actually do the pitch because I've like done a lot of webinar training and a lot of like webinar pitches. So I'm generally, for our publishing clients, if they're coaches, I'll jump on and do the masterclass pitch with them. So, you know, line up for the team, help to close. We probably do about a masterclass a day at the moment across our different clients. So like we've got a good momentum there, which is going well.
Like when you guys say that, you do the actual like webinar?
Yeah, so we'll do it with the coach. So I'll generally do the introduction.
Oh, got it.
So we've got like
Okay.
day traders, like things like that. We've got property real estate offers.
So okay. Sorry to cut you off. That actually is my next question. So are you guys basically going to like different businesses? You're like, hey, you know, we'll hook you up with financing and like, I don't know, you're giving them some type of
Just
commission.
install our systems.
Yeah.
That's what we do. I mean, within the coaching space, that's what's worked so well for us, is once we took the time to build out the foundations, to build the systems and everything, and then we just offer the coaches, hey, look, we'll come and plug this into your business. We'll take you from
Is that
here
literally the only
to here.
incentive? Is just like, hey, we'll plug this financing option into your business?
Well,
and then
it's not
super
just finance, right? Like, you know, if it's the publishing model, we got marketing, we got sales, like it's full publishing, right?
Yeah.
But at the back end, we also plug in finance.
they got to pay for the other stuff though, right? So,
Yeah,
So,
correct. Yeah, correct.
so I guess like the financing, I get that. It's like, hey, like you'll close more sales, we'll give this to you for free. Like it's a win-win.
Yeah.
The other stuff though, what would your selling point be? Like if you came to me and you said, hey, we'll do all these other things, you got to pay X amount. I mean, that's a harder sell, right?
So the way we sort of pitch it, it's more of like so the new one we're going with, like I mentioned, AI, like we're generally going to do that. So AI funding solutions. So we've got Easy Check, but the difference with the way our like sort of pixel works on the front, we actually plug that directly into the API of our lending panel. So we actually get the full pre-approved income based upon the 27 lenders. So rather than just have speculative data on the front, we hit the pixel. then pushes through an API key and actually goes, this person's approved through this lender. So we know in real time. So it's super advanced. And that's where a lot of the coaches, and that's why the PE guys and the venture capital guys are like, more money, more money, more money, because they're like, you're not actually lending to these people. That's how we de-risk the model, is we use the application on the front, comes in, we go, we're only going to send it to this lender. So as soon as the sales team does, it comes as easy check income approved. They know exactly who to send it to. So they're like, this person's got this amount of money from this lender in real time. So we're realistically drop shipping loans. That's the way.
Okay, so explain that to me one more time, because you lost me a bit. So if someone comes through, you're qualifying them. If they have good credit, you lost me on the part where it's like you're not loaning them money. Like, how are they getting the money then?
So what I mean is that when the person comes through, so basically there's like lead fire, simple check, like you've seen those guys. Yeah. We've got easy checks, similar. But what we do is we push the whole available credit. We actually hit the API of the lenders. Yeah. So in that way we know that amount is guaranteed approved, not just they might have this amount or that. We actually are like, no, this lender will give you that exact amount.
Oh, really? So you take it like a step further.
Yeah, we do, because we obviously own the lending panel. So we then have that ability to connect API to keys.
Okay. And then the benefit of that is what then? So like, when they apply, they're going to for sure get it, or you guys can tell them, hey, you're 100% approved for this.
The salesperson will know 100% that if they get this sale and they say yes, they're already approved. Instant.
Oh, wow. Click. So then they don't have to like bullshit around or like, hey, you got to check this.
Don't have to go, I'll see if I can put you through a firm, Klarna.
Have you seen that has improved conversions quite a bit?
Huge. Massively. Yeah.
How so? Like, how so? Is it just because it's like, hey, if you do this, you're approved? Like, they know up front?
Well, it's a joke that I make to all the coaches that, like, when they use finance, it sort of feels like you're throwing mud at the wall hoping something sticks. Right? Yeah. But it's like, we take that away and we actually open up access and give the person actual clarity. If you do this, this is your outcome.
Is that the biggest difference?
It takes the guesswork out of it.
Yeah, is that the biggest difference you would say you guys do with your financing, is like that extra step?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what makes the biggest difference?
100%.
Definitely major one, because with a firm and Klarna, like obviously they have risk tolerances and what they don't say on the front, but we work directly with them now. Right. So we've got a firm, we're going to have them. And like what they'll do is they'll turn your account down. And I think a lot of coaches are like, I got in, and it's just business. They turn your account up, approve. Next minute, risk, down. You're like, all of a sudden I went from getting 50% of deals approved to 10. Yeah. They don't know that. But what we do is we have the risk tolerance set in the back end, and we actually speak directly with the lenders and all the different banks that we use. And they tell us what the actual credit score is, what everything is. We change that in the back end. So when you're using our service, you know that's actually going to be guaranteed to get approved.
Interesting. Yeah, that is good. And how did you guys set up those relationships? Did that come through you, or did that come through the kind of the acquiring of these lending companies that you guys are working with now?
The big thing is, right, they've opened up access to us, one, because of our track record. Like when it comes to money, when it comes to finance, the lending space, whether you're in the US or whether you're in Australia, it comes down to trust. Yeah. Do they trust you to open up their information? Like to give you access to the information that you need to be able to, make yourself different in the marketplace. So they'll look at track records. They'll look at how many defaults. They'll look at, the clients that have been put through over the time. And the blessed thing that we've got is that we've got, Dave, who's our business partner with 15 years experience, in finance in this space. Yeah. So, he's able to then step into those rooms because he's got the track record, right? It's no different than what I'm doing here in Australia. Like I'm now having conversations with enterprise levels finance companies.
So basically you go to them and you're like, hey, like here's kind of what we've done on our own. Here's how good it is. And then if they like it, they'll kind of
well, this is what we've done with other lenders, right? This is why, here's our data, right? Because we want to be able to access more capital, more and more capital. But they're not going to give that to you unless they trust you.
Yeah, it's all data driven. Right. It's basically like, how's the performance of your book? What's the default rate? Like all those sorts of things. So we had like with one of our major lenders, which, we're rolling out in the coaching space now and it's going mental. Basically, I think in our first 90 days, we had less than 0.001 default rate. Yeah. And they turned around and said, this is the best performing book we've ever seen.
How much do you want?
How much do you want? Literally.
And how do you guys make sure they don't default though? Because like, I get the approval thing. It's like, hey, they're approved for this, cool. But it's like the default part, you never kind of know. Is it just you guys go off credit score or?
It comes through to us. We're sitting in the middle. Before it actually gets to the lender, they have to go through our software and our team. Our team oversees it.
Yeah. Right. So what's the main thing you're looking at?
So obviously their debt to income ratio, their credit score, their serviceability, like their lines of credit, the things they have available. But what we also do is we have a support team that'll then do the follow-up, almost like a concierge type service to basically, like, if that person's defaulting, we put it back to the business owner, but then we also have someone that's following up almost like payment plans to keep that book clean. So the difference is, like, with a firm and Klarna, you're just throwing the client in, that's sent up to them. If that person defaults, it's back onto you.
Yeah.
We take that next layer of protection to protect the asset and the money that we have. So we've got team there that
Does
actually
that and
following up.
does that actually work? So just meaning like you just take the client who's not paying and you're like, hey, you need to pay, and like that seems to like make a huge difference.
It's definitely, it comes down to automations and systems as well. Like there's another layer that we're implementing in 2026, which will actually be being like the application. So if you use like a firm or Klarna, there's one here called Afterpay. Then there's another one called Zip Money, which is in Australia. You actually get a notification inside of an app, which is what we're developing now. So all these little systems to basically protect the asset, which is the money being lent, but then having the person being notified. Because a lot of the time, people don't default on purpose. They default because they're frustrated with the offer. So basically, they'll just go, I haven't been delivered to. So it comes down to that protection with the business, then also making sure the clients that we give it to, we're not just given loaded guns, if that makes sense.
That's also a really good point.
Because the coaching space, I love it. But the problem is that one person finds out, and you would have had this, you've told a couple of clients. Next minute, you've got Cowboys. And you're just like, man, I've had this great deal with like a firm Klarna, and then I've told my clients, and they've told their friends and their friends and their friends. So we have that layer of protection to make
you guys are looking at a lot of stuff, but I was just more curious, like, is the key thing like keeping those people out, or it's like once they're in, the follow-up? I'm assuming it's still keep them out, right?
It's a bit of both. Like here in Australia, the conversation I was having last week, one of the first things that these lenders actually ask is, what does a delivery look like? Because here's the thing. When it comes to the online space, you're selling the invisible. You're delivering the invisible, right? There's no tangible product. It's not a car. It's not a house or anything physical, right? So the biggest question that these lenders have is, what due diligence have you done on these merchants before they get to us? How do they deliver? What's their success rate? What's their default rate? What's their refund rate? Same as what Stripe will do.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, you guys are looking at a lot of numbers, but is there like a main number? So, for example, let's say I was doing it. It's like, if their credit score is below this, they're probably going to 100% default. Or, if they don't have a credit limit of this high, like, is there something, like, I know there's a lot, but there's got to be something more than just you guys are looking at everything. They get that rate so low, because like I don't think a firm and Klarna and any of those companies are getting anywhere near that.
So we've got different tiers of lenders. So you'll have different risks. So our top tier lender, which is what everybody that's doing great business gets access to.
Yeah.
We protect that one, and then we have a waterfall where obviously the risk in relation to the lenders, they'll be like, look, I don't care. Like, again, without getting too much into it, because obviously they'll have different risk tolerance, and then they're looking to obviously on-sell papers, etc., things like that. So we protect the different lenders rather than just say blanket one for all. We'll be like to a business owner, what's your delivery like? What's your retention rate like? What's these?
And that's really to protect you guys, because if you get too many issues, they start like pulling back on you, basically, right?
100%.
They'll stop you overnight.
Okay.
You get an email and you.
Okay.
Well, the thing, because of the waterfall, like in the last sort of 18 months, we went from having about 500 mil to about 3.5 billion to lend now. So we're looking at like that. We want to keep that, and we just want that to grow billion on billion each year.
Yeah.
Because those guys are happy, but also too, it's based upon, if we just went one lender or with a firm, we'd blow the book up in a second, and just put everyone in there. Like they would just turn around and go, too much risk, see you later. Yeah. So we just protect that, and we do all the due diligence. We look at all these things because we push it into Salesforce, which then tells us, is that person high default? Is that person this? And then they get access to the top elite lender when the person's actually really their book's performing.
So it sounds like if you get someone who's like a level 1 business, level 5, level 10, they all will get financing from you guys, but level 1's going to get the worst. Level 5 will get middle. And the reason you guys do that is like, well, if something happens, it's like that lender is okay with like more risk, basically.
Correct.
So it's like they'll be okay if like they default or something, versus like maybe this one's like, no, they like want as little risk as possible. Is that accurate?
Correct. And with the enterprise stuff as well, is they're happy to do it because of that middleman. We navigate the bad and good actors in the space. Yeah. And that's where in the past they've been like, we won't want to touch it. The coaching space has that reputation because of how much it just comes down to one person tells and then everybody jumps on.
Right, of course, yeah.
That's why you're a firm and Klarnas are like, see you later, see you later, see you later.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think a firm, from what I saw, most of my coaching clients would be like B2C, they let through. B2B, they want it. They're like B2C, like fitness, that type of shit. But like B2B is like, they're like, nah, get out of here.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, that's super interesting. Yeah, so you guys are just adding like more layers and more stuff in there. Because when I think of most financing companies, like it's basically you just get approved or not, and that's basically it. It's like there's not a lot of communication. Even if there is, it's like a couple emails, I think.
Literally.
So not very good. So you guys have been partners, what, 5 years, 6 years?
4 years coming up.
4 years. So, you know, I actually will tell most business owners like not to be in a partnership because I'm like, it's kind of like having a wife. It's like, yeah, it's great when it's good, but when it's bad, it's bad. So what do you think has made you guys be kind of successful at it? Or maybe like, what are some things you guys do? Because like most partnerships, I would say, are risky or like they shouldn't do it. Most people like, you know, it's just like, bro, like it sounds good on paper sometimes, but I just think for most people, it's actually not a good thing. So you guys have obviously done pretty well. Outside the fact you guys do some different things, like what have been some of the things that have made you guys successful at it?
I'd say, look, I mean, the first thing is you guys were talking about faith earlier. Like we're both men of faith, right? That's the first thing. The second thing I'd say is we both see the same thing. And when I say see the same thing, we both see the same vision, right? So we're going for the same thing. And I feel like I've been in a business for long enough to see other partners, you know, some work, some don't. I've looked at it and I'm like, why did it work and why didn't it work? And a lot of the time, the reason why it doesn't work is that they don't see the same thing. They're not going for the same goal. They might talk the talk, but truth is behind the scenes, like, how do you operate?
Yeah.
Are you guys going towards the same thing or do you have hidden agendas, right? But we're like, we're super open about all this sort of stuff. And again, I go back to, you know, being a man of faith, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, mate, we're super close outside of, it's not just business, right?
Yeah.
Really good, you know, really good friends as well. And
it's funny you said that because when I'm looking at a portfolio company, I'll tell people, they're like, what do you look at for? I'm just like, two things: good CEO and unique offer. When I say good CEO, usually though, what I mean is like he wants to make as much money as humanly possible. And the reason is because I tell him straight up, I'm like, look, I'm not going to push the business. Like I'm going to come in strategically and like operationally and stuff. But like, if he doesn't want to push it, it's not going to get pushed because I don't have the time capacity, nor do I want to. Like, I don't want to run 5 companies. I'm like, bro, like you need to run it. You need to push it. Like I'll help you. So I think that was kind of a good thing you said there because like to your point, if your goal, like for me in business, like I'm pretty straightforward. I just like, I want to grow, I want to get bigger, I want to make money. So if someone comes in, they're just like, yeah, I just, you know, I just want to make a little bit. It's like you're already misaligned. And I think that's kind of what you said there, where it's not bad. It's just like to your point, if one person is like that, it totally derails it because it comes to the point where basically like you're either going to have to run the whole business and then you might as well not even have a partner, or it's going to run into the ground because that partner's not pulling their weight.
But it's also having the 2 different skill sets.
Yeah.
Right? We're complete opposite.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does. I'm really good at what I do.
That too. I think some people...
And that's just what makes...
Yeah, I think some people are partnering and they have the same skill sets. And I'm like, this is like the dumb... You guys just like want to feel good. Like you're pulling the same direction. It's like, go to the gym together or something, bro.
That was...
like,
because that was our previous business. Like I had other business partners, which we're no longer partners with. Yeah. And that's why, because Brodie worked in DMS in sales and then we partnered when I left DMS, Digital Marketing School. So that was exactly that. It was 2 visionaries and it was like one person saw this, one person saw that. And it's not like and I think people in business, they think like visionary integrator, they think it's like a power play. This person's this. It's like, it's complete opposite. Like I would be lost without Brodie being able to sit there and ground all the ideas and the concepts and the vision, like to listen to like the 1,000 ideas I have and be like, that one's good. We'll implement that. That one's good. Because sometimes I just need that sounding board because I can get so lost in like the future concepts. In 2028, we're doing this. And Brodie's like, it's 2025, we're doing this. Like, you know, that sort of stuff. We've got that good cohesion. And then it just allows us to like, you know, work cohesively and in that partnership. Because I know in the past with other business partners, you're just butting heads. I see the company this way. I see the company this way. And we just trust each other. Like, I think that's the big thing. Like we have had some struggles and trials, tribulations, you know, like when I came back to God, that's when we,
he's like,
oh man, when I came back to God, I remember like, cause I was just so like in that moment of like trying to rediscover myself after everything happened with my fiance's father and stuff. And I've got back from Europe and I've like called him and I'm like, we're letting go of all of our sales agency clients and we're going fully into finance. He's like, bro, are you crazy? Like, it's like, you're an idiot. What are you doing? But he's like, I trust you. And that's all I need to hear. And then we went for it. And I'm like, you got to get a finance license in the next 6 weeks. And he's like, it's a 6-month course. I'm like, bro, Merry Christmas. You got to get it in the next 6 weeks. And he sat there the whole of Christmas. And then he got out, and then sure enough, January 1st hit. I'm like, are you finished? He's like, give me another 2 weeks. Start of Feb, we're just promoting to my audience, everyone I know. We bought on like 100 referral partners straight away because all the coaching space, like, if you guys have done this, we're on board in Australia. So we got all these, and he's like, man, I've never wrote a deal before. Like, I'm live now. He's like, we hired a broker within like literally 3 weeks of starting. So we started building a team straight away. And
That's crazy.
But yeah, that sort of stuff.
An interesting journey.
Yeah. No, I just it's good to hear that from you guys, because I most people who like they get business partners, I'm like, it doesn't work out, or like they almost get a business partner so they don't have to learn the other skills. I don't think that's bad, but like I think there's a difference between like I don't think I have a business partner or portfolio company where it's like I can't do it. It's just like it doesn't bring me leverage, right?
Yeah.
So like, for example, could I go out and learn how to day trade and stuff? Sure. But it's like, that brings me no leverage and I have to spend 2 years, et cetera. So it's like, hey, you're the day trader. You do that, for example. And it's like, I'll do the sales and marketing. So I think you guys have a good balance, and it's good to see some people work out. Cause I would say like on average, I don't know what the percentage is, but I say most partnerships don't work out. You know, I guess you could say same thing for your marriages and stuff, but like, I think it's just because of those things we discussed. It's like, they don't have opposite talents. They don't really have the same vision. I feel like you really got to be on that same wavelength, because like when I started getting portfolio companies, I saw this firsthand. It was like, I wasn't like, we weren't full on partners, but I was like, bro, like you basically want me to run the company. I was like, that's not the whole point of a portfolio company for me is like, I tell you what to do and use my team and you can do it. And that makes you a lot more money, and you're happy, and I'm happy because I don't have to do so much work for a paycheck, right?
I mean, what you just said was very true. It's like, you know, what James works on, I let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Right? And
and you don't have
no
to.
need
Yeah.
for me to go in there and be
It's
like,
also
overlook
like,
and all this sort of stuff. And
yeah, it's
vice
also like, you
versa.
just don't want to have to feel like you have to check on them. Like if
Yeah,
you have to
100%.
babysit someone, because I have people, like sometimes on my own team, I'll be like, dude, if I have to babysit you, like you're basically worthless to the team. It's like, you need to be good enough to like do the job and do it without me having to babysit you. Because if like you have to babysit, I'm like, I might as well just fucking do it.
There's one person I studied a lot was Richard Branson. Like just the way he set up the Virgin Group, and that's what I said. So we've got, ours is called the Amala Group. Like we literally, but when you look at the diagram, there's a centralized company which obviously then supports all the other offset companies, which is like sounds like what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so obvious when you look at it like that. Like we have finance is our main engine, but our marketing, our sales, our operations team, they sit in this business and they just pump all these other ones up.
I think also it's just when you look at becoming, like, let's just assume you want to become a billionaire, get as rich as possible. So there's only two paths that I've kind of seen. It's like you either hit a fucking unicorn, which you guys have seen Shark Tank and stuff. Yeah. I think the biggest issue on that show is people go on there and they think they're going to hit a fucking unicorn. I'm like, listen, bro, unless your product is like 1 in a billion, it's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and so to me, the whole point of private equity is like you de-risk it by, hey, instead of owning one business that has to be a unicorn, I'll own 10 or 20. And then as long as they all, like, if like 6 of them do pretty average and these do like exceptional, like it balances it out.
Yeah.
And then you can become a billionaire. I just think there's too many people who they think their product's unique. And I'm like, bro, your product's fucking shit. And then they spend years of their life, like they take mortgages out and loans and all this stuff. And I'm just like, guys, like it's so stupid. Or like the model's not even good. So the one of the reasons I think coaching works or like high ticket space works is because to be frank, like the offer may not be that good, but the model is superior because it's like, hey, if I can spend $5,000 to get a client and I sell it at 10, I made $5,000. But if you're selling a protein bar for $3, it's like, dude, you can't run ads. So I think most people, they pick a business that's like a low ticket business. They have no following. They can't spend money on ads. They then have to like, you know, they're like, oh, I hope this thing takes off. And they think they're going to be the next, like, what is that little squatty potty?
Yeah.
And it's like, unless you get unless you go super viral, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And like, I just don't get why people don't get that. And maybe it's just because high ticket isn't normal for the average person. But to me, I was like, the whole point of high ticket is like, you could take an inferior product and make it work with ads. So you don't have to have a big following and all that type of stuff. Doesn't have to go viral. You get cash and then you could take that cash and then try to do a unicorn or something like that. But I just think so many people are like, oh, I'm going to be the next Facebook. It's like, dude, you're fucking not.
I think with the portfolio like companies, that's what we're really focused on. The coaching space, like, because publishing's great. Like, I know there's a lot of people that probably listen to this, and we get a lot of young guys. Like, they'll message me or they'll come, like, they'll talk to us because they're like, oh, we've heard about you guys through such and such.
Yeah.
Because in Australia, like, we've got pretty decent results for like sales agencies.
Well, yeah, and I just also assume Australia's a little less competitive, meaning like if you stand out, like it's like you're one among few here.
100%. You know, and like one thing we're sitting there with, like, and I mentioned like the ecosystem focus is like, obviously marketing background, the LTV of customers, but not just in the one business. Yeah. So for us, it's all about data. Because I remember there was the CEO of Google said, if you own the data, you own the world.
Yeah.
So the whole concept behind it is how do we get that person to go through the ecosystem and the company. So we're now looking obviously for the next companies that we're buying is like insurance. So we get the person that comes through from a personal loan coaching space, huge engine coming in. Right. They then get insurance. So putting that inside of the application. So they go insurance. Then they get cars. Then they get car insurance. Then they buy mortgages. So it's like plugging on all these things. So by the time the customer leaves, so we say Hotel California, you can come, but you can never leave. So like that song, we're like literally Trojan Horse Hotel California is our two sayings.
So I know data's, very valuable. So like if you get a lot of data, you can sell it. What exactly when you sell it, and you guys, I don't know if you will know this, but when you sell the data, what exactly is so valuable about it? Is it the fact that they can just reach out and sell something else, or like, do you understand the question? Like basically I'm just saying, like, if once you get the data, if someone's like, I'll buy your company, why do they want the data? Is it just so they can sell other stuff, or what's the most valuable thing about it?
Data enrichment's the main thing. So how they can then utilize that data. If you plug that into the right systems and softwares, like obviously they can do anything with that. Like we collect so much data. For us, it's about how we can utilize that to then lookalike audiences used to be great, but they're not as what they once were. But like even just like the understanding of like the trends inside of the data. So we look at different things. So for example, when people look at our data, they look at like the success of the book. Then obviously we can now analyze with different softwares, like where are the target places to actually market or set up different businesses. So there's like all these things they look for. Like the guys that we speak with, they're like, let us see where majority of your stuff's coming from. And they'll be like, oh, most of our clients are coming out of Miami and Atlanta. Like those are our two big sort of hotspots at the moment. So they'll be like, let's get business there, huge amounts of approval finance, etc. Like that sort of stuff they look at. Like
just helps them make better decisions, basically.
100%. Like I think from a marketing perspective, you think of it like retargeting, lookalike audience, all that sort of stuff. But the next layer to it is like general population, where to actually set things up, where to establish. Like really, that's what they're looking at data for. And then the trends of like growth, because for we know like in Utah, Atlanta, in America, it's a really, really high approval rate. Like there's actually in some of our advertising, we avoid certain like sort of states in the US because we're just like, we're not touching it.
Yeah, they're not going to get approved basically.
Yeah.
Okay. To wrap this up, I want to do a little bit of a lightning round. These will just be a couple quick fire questions. What's the best business decision you guys have made so far?
Getting into finance.
Yeah. Yeah, just like making that pivot. What's the biggest mistake that turned into something positive, if there is one? You don't have to like try to come up with one.
There you go.
What's the biggest mistake that turned into a positive?
Biggest mistake that turned into something positive, like a breakthrough. Yeah.
Blasting an SLO funnel in the end of 2023, thinking that we won't change the actual program. And inside of that program, I had a video saying, add me on social media. And we brought on like 3,000 clients in 2 months. And I just kept getting DM after DM saying, hey, are you here to coach me one-on-one? That was the biggest mistake. And I was like, what the F is going on? And I realized it was that video. I said, make sure you connect with me, because it was a high ticket program. We then changed to $3.
Oh my gosh, bro. That's like really hilarious because I can picture that.
They were like, oh, I've just joined your program. So nice to meet you, James. Like, when do I get to book my one-on-one call? I'm like, fuck, man, this is
Never.
Never. This is the wrong pro. And then, just chargebacks on $3, $7 coffees. I was like, have your coffee back.
Jeez, bro. Well, like, why was there a misunderstanding how you marketed, or like, what was the reason that happened?
We were lazy, and there was videos in there where we were selling it, and it basically just said, "Welcome to Digital Marketing School. So great to have you here." And then when you join the school, make sure you connect to me on social media. It was okay at $5 grand,
yeah,
10 grand.
I mean, for $5 or 10, yeah, but for $3, that's going to turn to a little bit of a problem. Is there any principle you guys would never compromise on? Like one principle?
Integrity.
Yeah. Yeah, integrity. Yeah, like the three for me is honesty, truth, and transparency. Like I always sit there and like I will live by that. Like be honest, be truthful, be transparent.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I don't know what it is, but the longer I've been in business, and it could be incorrect, but like I'll see Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, and some people like, I don't know them personally, but people will be, oh, they're kind of seem like dicks and stuff. But I might have a dude like, they get shit done. And I think sometimes people are so, at least what I see is like business owners, you can be one of two people. It's either you can have the uncomfortable conversations and like risk like some people not liking you. You don't have to be a dick about it, but like, I just tell people it's like, yeah, like that's not good enough. Like if you don't improve, you got to go.
Yeah,
like some people literally won't do that. Or two, it's like you can be the people pleaser, but then your business will slowly die because like they don't hold their teams to a standard. And it just drives me crazy. I'm like, you guys realize like you're paying these people money. This isn't like a charity. It's like if they cannot do the job for you, they're making your life worse. It's like you're babysitting the babysitter. And so I just have always like, I don't care. Like I literally will just be like, it's just business. Like it's not personal. It's like, you're a great person.
It's
but
like if you make the promise, keep the promise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just tell,
operate
and
at
I
a
tell,
high
I just tell
standard.
my team, I'm like, look, if you say you're going to do something, fucking do it.
Yeah.
If I need you to do something, you better be able to do it. And I'll give people chances, but if they cannot do the job, I'm like, look, the whole reason for me to pay you is so I get leverage by not having to do it. So if I still have to babysit you, I don't get any leverage. So therefore you're worthless in business, like, or in work. Right. And I don't know what it is, but some people, they just are so scared to have a confrontation. I'm like it's one of two. It's either you're going to be stressed out all the time or you just like get them off your team. I don't know.
Yeah, I told I pulled in our management team the other day because one of our a couple of our sales team went before me.
Yeah.
And the manager was like, because I think there's obviously this underlying tone that we're a faith-driven company.
Yeah.
And they get that mixed up with being like soft and timid. And I just called the management team and I said, we're not timid Christians. We're not leading by faith, by not leading people.
Yeah.
And I said, what we need to do is like, don't disadvantage that person. Because a couple of our managers, they'll protect the sales team a lot. And I was just literally said to them, like, guys, like, fucking stop it. Like, honestly, because you're now taking away that person's learning and growth. I said, why are you like you are? Why are you the person you are? And they all recalled, oh man, I had this fucking manager who was so intense. I said, I know. And that person made you the person you are today. That's why you're in leadership. Yeah. I said, now you're babying someone, you're protecting them. I said, we're not a soft culture. We need to genuinely get up and get after it energy.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, and do you both have athletic backgrounds or is it just you?
Both of us.
Both of you. Yeah. Like I don't usually, I will just find, it's not always, but when I think of my best clients or even my best portfolio companies, it's either they have a like athletic background or like they're Indian or Asian because their parents are like crazy hard on them. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like they're just like, oh, you got an A? It's not, 96? That's terrible. You guys get a 98. You know, it's like they'll literally have that culture. And I think that's a good thing in the grand scheme because I don't know. When I've seen people, they're not very hard on them or like their parents are not hard on kids. I grew up in a pretty, like I was average income, middle income. My dad was a teacher. My mom stayed at home, but like my dad was just really good with money. So like we lived in, I would say like maybe a little upper middle class. Right. But a lot of my friends, you know, they had money.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends, like after high school and college, like they didn't do shit. And then my dad, I just remember he's like, I was 14. He's like, can I go to the movies? He's like, do you have a job? I was like, no. He's like, well, I guess you can't go.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got to pay for college. You got to do this. And so like, I hated my dad when I was younger, but when I got older, it was like, oh, like that's why. And he's like, yeah, like that's why you kick everyone's ass now because like you actually know how to like get back into a corner and get out of it. Some people, it's like, if you don't do that, you end up just making their life worse. Like if a parent just coddles their kid and does everything they want, it's like they think they're helping them. Like you're just going to make them like a shitty adult. Literally. That's how I view it. So 100%. Like to your point, that's the thing too, is people think by avoiding it, I'm like, you're not avoiding anything. It's like, you're just kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
Like if I have someone on my team I need to fire, it's like, you don't have to fire him, but it's like, you're just gonna have to fire him later. I mean, you know, I just think people a lot of times they avoid stuff and they think, oh, I don't have to deal with it. It's like, no, you do. It's just later now. Which to me, it's like, you might as well just do it now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Last question I have for you guys is just interesting one. You may not have an answer, but if you do, what's a question I should have asked you guys that I didn't? Maybe something that would be helpful for the audience. Like you didn't really go here, but like, you know, you should have asked us about this and like, here's like our share with it.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Don't have one at the moment.
Okay.
I think you asked, the one you asked was about like, what do you see as like the main coaching ones, like the main coaching offers at the moment? I think delving into that, like stop just doing. So one thing I think for coaches to realize is what you maybe think is the most revolutionary thing in the world. Do your research like before you actually, because I always have coaches and business owners and they'll come to me and like, I've got this and this and this. And like my favorite one is, oh, before I tell you my idea, can you please sign an NDA? I might just tell me high level the idea. Like, and I've actually responded to a few recently. I sound like an asshole now. And I'm like, that's like such and such. I actually wouldn't touch that business with a 10-foot pole. With all due respect, I think you need to go out to the drawing board.
I'm just like, what's your revenue? Zero. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not good. Like, I'm like, it's just the thing too is even if your idea, it's like, Tanner, what's your idea? Flying cars. It's like, cool, go do it. It's like the idea is not unique. Yeah. It's like everyone's got ideas. It's like you got to go fucking do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like right now, for example, I've been working on this for the last 2 years. We'll see if it's good because I never know. But like the biggest complaint I've seen from my clients is messaging. So I was like, okay, who's the biggest majority of my clients? This. Okay, let's build an AI sales bot for these clients. And their thought process was like, hey, if it's more specific, I'm not competing with like ChatGPT and like, 800 other people. Now, if it's good, it'll sell. But it's like me telling that to someone. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go compete against you. It's like, hey, like good luck.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I just think so many people get so worried about that. And it's like, dude, like if it's shit, it doesn't matter. It's got to be good. Like your idea is not that important, in my personal opinion.
I think making it make sense as well. Like sometimes if someone's like, you say elevator pitch and it's like 3.5 minutes in and you're just sitting there like, what do you actually do? Like the one thing we noticed with like the big brands, so Benny like doing the marketing like Foot Locker and stuff, when he did New Balance, I remember doing the campaign, it was the Uglies campaign. So if you notice how everyone has like the old school New Balances now?
Yeah.
They literally like they had so Foot Locker got Anthony Edwards, all this sort of stuff, and like the campaign metrics weren't as good as they thought.
Anthony Edwards is a beast.
Like, you know, I thought like Ant's mad, but in Australia, like we're not a huge NBA culture. We love it. Like I love Anthony Edwards, but like you look at that, then he did New Balance and they just literally did a dirty shoe with a rose sticking out of it. And it's like, there's beauty in the old. And that was the actual creative. Cost them nothing to do. This other one was like a multi-million-dollar campaign, but it just made sense because people love the old school stuff these days. And I was like, that's what's really simple. Whereas with coaching, it's like you look at their things and their ideas and it's like, I'm this. And you're like, or you're just a mindset.
Yeah, you know, to finalize this, it just, you know, when Mosey came out with $100 million offers, I was like, oh, I've been doing that. I just didn't know how to like explain it. Basically, if you take his whole book and you just put it down on a page, it's like, it's the four, like the offer equation, remember, where it's like determined outcome, perceived likelihood of achievement, time delay, effort. And I was like, that's like, if I plug your offer into that and it's 1 out of 4, it's like not that great. Now, with that being said, I've told people and I've actually, I wouldn't say I bragged about it, but I told them, I was like, look, I made millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars with a 1 out of 4. Like basically I was like, determined outcome was good. Everything else was shit. It's like fitness, for example. It's like perceived likelihood of achievement, pretty low. You'll probably you'll probably fail. Takes a long time. It's going to take a lot of effort. But the clients who have like really outstanding offers, they have 2 or 3 out of those. And I'm like, so a lot of times people, when they think like they're super unique, I'm like, bro, like I'll just put through this model in like 30 seconds. And it's like, yeah, it's not unique. Sorry.
Mate, they get caught up in the blue ocean. I want to be in the blue ocean, and then they sell themselves on.
Yeah, they're like, yeah,
I'm over here in the blue ocean. I'm like, what's the USP?
Or
and
it's
I'm
just
like,
not something tangible. Like people will say, I'll help you feel happier. I'm like, that a person who doesn't know you won't believe that. They don't even know what that means. Like, what does that mean to be happier? Like, it's got to be quantifiable. Right. And so people can't quantify it. I'm like, dude, like
rather
that's
be at
not
peace
gonna
and be happy.
That was one of the coaches that I was like,
like,
thinking of, like happiness coach.
Right. Or they're like, well, Tony Robbins does that. I was like, but he's fucking Tony Robbins. Like Kim Kardashian could sell her toenails, but you're not Kim Kardashian. So it's like they think like they almost like think they have the brand power. It's like, that's brand power. That's not a good offer. It's like they just have a strong brand. You don't have that brand yet, so you can't do that.
Yeah.
If people want to find out more about you guys, like where can they go and like where are the links?
Just Instagram,
So
Facebook.
James Wellington Official on Instagram, and then amalafinance.com.au for obviously finance. We've got the application there, and then ease.com. Easiest one there.
That's one. Mine's Brodie Ober on Instagram.
Well, dude, I can't wait to see you guys go. I enjoyed the conversation, and like we'll check that back in like 2 years when you're doing a couple bill.
Done.
Sounds
Sounds like a
good.
plan.
All right.
Thanks for having us.